Dobro večer. Good evening. Tonight I will be teaching you about the Serbian Cyrillic alphabet. Serbian Cyrillic alphabet in Serbian is called Azbuka-Srpska Ćirilica. Ćirilica, Cyrillic, is another type of alphabet that some other countries use, like Serbia, Bulgaria, Russia, even Azerbaijan, they use Cyrillic, and it would look a bit confusing at first and a bit complicated, but I will take you through this step by step. So this is the Serbian Cyrillic alphabet. This letter you pronounce A for avion, which means plane. This one's a B. You pronounce B, like bubamar for ladybug. This is not a B. This is actually a V, like fuk, which means wolf. This is a G, but you pronounce it G, like gitara, which means guitar. This is a D for drug, which means friend. This letter you pronounce J, like Jack, which means student. You pronounce this one E, like Evropa, which means Europe. This letter you pronounce Ž, like Švaka, which means chewing gum. This one is Z. You pronounce it, it's like a Z. You can use it like for smaj, which means kite. This one's an I, not an N or a H. You can use it like for igrati, which means to play or to dance. You pronounce this letter Y, like jastuk, which means pillow. K for ključ, which means key. L like lizalica, which means lollipop. L like ljuljaška, which means swing. M mačka, which means cat. N for nos, which means nose. Nj for New York. O for oblak, which is a cloud. P for pametan, that means clever. That's not a P, that's an R for reka, which means river. So this letter is S, and you could say sat, which means time. This still stays as a T, like tayan, which means secret. This you pronounce it ch, like chebe, which means blanket. This letter you pronounce like a U, not a Y. U, like ushi, which means ears. This is F, like football, which means football. This X isn't an X, but a H. And you could say like chleb, which means bread. This you pronounce it ts, like cipela, which means a shoe. You pronounce this one ch, like chamat, which means boat. This one j, like jumper, which means jumper. And this letter sh, like shal, which means scarf. So this part, I will tell you some differences between some letters, and that some letters are actually compound letters, which have two letters at once. For example, this letter, L, it's a letter between L and Y together, like N and Y together. And sometimes you can get mixed up between some letters, like for example, this letter it looks like a C, like in Latin, but it's actually an S in Cyrillic. This one is not a B, it's a V. This one is a U in Cyrillic, not a Y. And this is a H, not an X. And some letters, it sounds very similar, but they're actually quite different. This one is a sh, like shh, be quiet, good night. And this one, it's more of like a ts, like pizza. This one, ch, like church. This one is a j, is kind of mixed between d and sh. And this one is also like j, but there's not really the j sound in there. It's more j, like jump. So in Serbian alphabet, you actually write how you pronounce and pronounce how you write. There's a gentleman who made it easier for us. His name is Vuk Stefanovic Karadzic, and he made it easier with these rules. So we're gonna go through an exercise. I have a notebook that has a bit of Cyrillic on it, and well, we can try to read it. So I got this notebook from the Nikola Tesla Museum, and I find it perfect to train because it's in Serbian Cyrillic. So why don't we read it together? Remember, that's not a P, that's an R. So moramo, that's a D, so da, moramo da. So that's a P, you say ch. That's an N, not a H. So moramo da počnemo. That's not a C, that's a S. Sa malim stvarima pre nego što postignemo velike. Moramo da počnemo sa malim stvarima pre nego što postignemo velike. In English, that means we have to start with small things before we achieve big things. Like here, step by step. I think that's a great quote. Anyway, thanks for learning Serbian Cyrillic with me, and vidimo se. See you